We brought Coach Nitka in as a practical presenter or speaker to answer any questions that you guys might have in trying to manage a complex environment with a lot of athletes and a lot of goals, a lot of different goals. So Coach has been a friend of mine for years. We go back a really long way, and I love how professional he is. The weight room is not a social place. It's a place to learn. So, or it is social, but we really take pride in learning. So, Coach Nitka.
All right. Andrea, thank you. All right. When I talked with Coach Hootie, she asked if I'd be interested. I said, yeah, I'm interested. What would you like me to speak on? And that's where the debate begins. I wasn't sure. I said, do you want to talk a little bit about in-season training for athletes, specialization? What is the buzzword out here in Kansas? And she said, Coach, it's up to you. And I just hate when people do that, so now I really have to start thinking. And I said, over my 40 years, here are the issues that I faced. Here are the obstacles I tried to overcome, and here are some of my solutions. So many of you here, if you're veteran coaches, have experienced all of these, and what I would like is, before I leave, possibly to listen to some of your concerns. Okay, some of the things you are facing here in Kansas. What we're going to find out is it's very similar. Okay, no matter what school you attend, high school, whether it's a big school, small school, there's always these things that are happening. If you'll look at the organizations that I really believe in, at some point you've got to come up with where are you going to help get the information to develop your philosophy. And for me, I was a very early signer on with the National Strength and Conditioning Association, and recently there's a new group of high school coaches that are trying to get a little bit more established for people that this is what we do 8 hours a day, 9 hours a day, 10 hours a day, however much time we have. Before, I'd like to again thank Coach Hootie for inviting me here. For David and everybody else behind the scenes, thank you for making this look so effortless. As I'm pacing back there, I'm just watching everything going smoothly. And I've tried to do a couple of these over in my time, and it really takes a lot of work. But we then expect people to help us get where we want. We now have to get back. So I'm asking everybody to consider, do something for your conference. Do something for the local part of your state. Give back what you know. We veteran coaches, don't be afraid to kind of get involved with the younger staff. And here's what I'm going to try to accomplish. Again, as the other speaker said, I'm used to 60-minute, 75-minute presentations. When they said, you have 45 minutes, I just kind of chuckled, and I'm thinking, wow. And as I sat down and I started looking at all the things that would have been issues, obstacles, and possible solutions, I could have kept going on. When I come up with a new one, I thought of another one. Okay, my job here is to kind of get you to say, yeah, well, we've gone through that, and here's how we've overcome that over this time. If you study this slide for a little bit, I don't know how I came across it, but this was me throughout my career at all three positions, all three cartoon characters. When I was a young entry-level 23-year-old strength coach, people would offer advice, and I was too busy to listen to that advice. Okay, there's a new expression now talking about thinking outside the box. Hell, I didn't even know what was inside the box at that time, and people were just kind of swamping me with new ideas. I had to try to focus on what it is I was going to base my philosophy on. The guy in the middle, no thanks. If you see, they're pushing a cart with a square wheel, and they may have a clue here. Inside that cart, there is a pentagon-shaped wheel. So that's going to run a little bit smoother. That was midterm in my career. At this point now, listening to the presenters, and I'm thinking, these guys have the answers. Okay, young coaches, you have the answers. You're that last guy in the cartoon. Why are we working so many hours? Okay, why are we not thanking people that are willing to help us when you're holding the round wheel that's going to make your journey that much easier? So I think. Developing philosophy, look down those objectives. This is where it all began, and when my first professor as an undergrad asked me to develop this philosophy, a philosophy, I really struggled. I thought it was a stupid assignment. Why? Because I didn't understand the assignment. I didn't understand what it is that he wanted me to do. First time in my life, somebody asked me to sit down and think about what it is. This wasn't for strength conditioning initially, this was for physical education. So I had to ask myself, why did I want to teach physical education? And the joke back then in 1975 was you get summers off. And guys, I haven't had a summer off since 1975. It is year-round. Okay, we started with physical education, doing camps in the summer, and to a point now where we have trained all the teams that you can imagine at any one high school would have, as are you. Leadership, when Coach Self talked about this earlier, guys, I am the command and complete control. There was no option. Okay, coaches came to me, I said, I'm willing to work, but here's the way we're going to do this. When the athletes came up to me, here's the way we're going to do this, guys. And if there was a little bit of trying to buck the system, I'd point to the door. I said, guys, I'm not holding you in here, but this is the way it's going to work to be successful. We're going to live and die by this. As I matured, you know, the term is, Coach, you're getting soft. Yeah, I'm a little bit more democratic. I will pick and choose who I'm going to ask questions of and watch and listen to their responses. Who do I pick? The toughest kids in the program, as well as the middle and weakest kids in the program. From there, as they all leave and I'm sitting there thinking, what just happened? I then determine what is going to happen in the future. So that leadership style is I forget which one of the coaches, it might have been you, Brett, that said, be yourself. What great advice. How simple advice. I can't be him, I can't be Dr. Feigenbaum, I've got to be me. And I'm hoping you're not going to try to copy week 3, you're going to be yourself. Okay, yourself is that person that maybe we've been waiting for a lot of time. And you're going to be the next person standing up here in the near future, sharing your ideas with us. Ideas, let's see here, maybe I can do this one. The values about being a coach, Coach Hootie called me a professional. Andrea, thank you, that's quite an accomplishment or a compliment, is I look at this on a regular basis. And I see what on the TV and the portrayal of we high school coaches. And it's not usually flattering. Okay, we're almost the joke of the academic community. That bothered me. So I had to sit down and kind of reflect, you know, what value guided me in all the situations that I would face over 40 years at a high school. Okay, Southeast Wisconsin, what do we have? 1,500 kids. They came turning. And just when I think I had a clue on how to solve all these situations, there was a new group coming in called freshmen. And I'd start all over again. You're smiling, coach, you've been there before. Okay? They tell us what to do. Okay, toughest situation I think I had, wrestling coach, unbeaten for 11 years in dual meets. I wanted to compete against the top Catholic or private school. We weighed in, my kid got to weigh in late. He was over about quarter of a pound. The officials let me weigh him in by myself. This was a big, big dual meet. No official. Coach Nitka, the kid. I made the kid step on the scale backward. Okay, I didn't want him to see what was going on. At that moment, I was struggling. Who am I really? Okay, what is important to me? Was it just about winning, or was it about making sure that that kid made weight accurately and that we would compete and beat the other team honestly? He made the weight, okay? We did beat him, and I kind of, on that ride home that evening, was relieved. You will find out about yourself. Is it about wins and losses? Or is it truly about this stuff here? Okay, more often than not, okay, when the team leaders came up to me and they would gauge my practices, okay, they would, that was a great practice, or that was an okay practice, or even, turn it up, coach, turn it up, you're going too easy on us. Well, they didn't understand how I was trying to peak them for certain dual meets, for certain Friday night football competitions, and I wasn't sure. I was applying what I was learning at a master's level student. My mentor, Doc Floyd, was kind of saying, try this and see what happened. And when it did happen, guys, I was honestly surprised. Why should I have been surprised? When these people are telling you, here are some of the answers to your questions, why should you be surprised? I don't think you should, because there is really not too much new. It's inside the box. Okay, it's a chapter in a text. Pick the one you want to read. Follow that, okay, know exactly what is inside there before you start looking for bells and whistles, or flavor of the day training, as I call it. Does it work? Yeah, it works. Is it fun? Sure, it's fun. Okay, so I try to throw that in there when I think things are getting stale. That's the art of coaching. There are people that can do it only by the book, and there are people that have this sense that's got to change it up a little bit. And when you do that, the team appreciates that, and they'll come back ready to jump through that wall for you. Looking at the slide, Which comes first, the chicken or the egg? I started with a 1,200 square foot facility. That's a normal abandoned high school classroom. Okay, so do I look for a program and design that program first, or do I look for the big, 10,000 square foot facility that some of you might be running? Program design or the actual facility? So what we had, Doc, you're taking a picture? Of me? Is you good side? Thank you, thank you. Okay, this is what I inherited. This was state of the art. Okay, veteran coaches, you've seen these before? Okay, what's it called? Universal equipment, yes? And what was slick about it is I get a class of 24. It had 12 stations. One person's lifting, one person is recovering. Pretty cool. Okay, whistle coaching, tweet. They'd start doing repetitions. Okay, 30 seconds later, tweet. They'd be moving. And the administrator was sitting in the doorway and they were just smiling. Okay, they saw movement. They saw effort. They saw perspiration, and they thought, this is a great training methodology. At that time, it was. Okay, where are we in 2018? We think we're state-of-the-art high-tech. Where will you be when you're our age? Okay, I should say my age. I'm not going to include Avery on this one. You look like you're way too young yet, so I'm not going to worry about you right now. From here, okay, this started becoming popular. Okay, something called strength and conditioning. And the first, we had one squat rack, one bench. 24 kids, as you can figure out, didn't work out real well. Okay, I had a hard time getting kids to squat. Everybody loved to bench. Okay, they didn't like to squat. I just took the benches out. Okay, we had a mutiny. Okay, there was, we're going to go train in somebody's garage. Coaches, are you sure you know what you're doing? I wasn't. I told them, I'm not sure. It worked out. The squats got better, the deadlifts got better. The bench eventually caught on up. Okay, how much do we really need the bench as opposed to the other two lifts? Debatable. Okay, the PhDs will figure out and tell me that this is more important than that. I'm not going to argue with you. I'll read your research and I'll try to understand it and then apply it as best as I can. In my day, the literature was limited. Okay, again, veteran coaches. In 1976, there was the guy of the time, is called Coach Bill Starr, and his program was this one over here. Okay, on a Monday, he believed that they should power clean, Wednesday bench press, Friday back squat, his sets and reps, 5 sets of 5. Still being used today, still having success today. Still is what could be inside that box, and it will work. If you look at how I modified that, we did not power clean, we deadlifted. Why? Power clean was called the odd lift in Wisconsin. Okay, we were taught at the university to not include power cleans. One kid hurt his back. Is a power clean a dangerous exercise? And the answer is no. We are dangerous coaches that don't take the time to teach it over a period of time, that don't take the time to supervise it on a regular basis. Okay, is it very coaching heavy exercise? Yeah, it is. You've all heard that story before. But, okay, will you be willing to bet and take the time that they got it? I'm going to go check my mail. I'm going to go get a cup of coffee. I'm going to go talk to the other sport coach while 24 freshmen are in a weight room by themselves. Not a good idea. All right, so anyway, we took Coach Starr's program, modified it to fit our class of 24, and on Monday, A group squatted, benched, and deadlifted. We didn't clean. Wednesday, the rotation looked like so. Thursday, so a third, and it worked out well. What do we do on Tuesdays and Thursdays? And if this was a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, sometimes some circuit training, and it was just starting to become popular, speed. It was just linear speed. Okay, and we didn't even teach them how to stop. We just go. Ready, set, go. And when they got done, we look at a stopwatch. Wisconsin fast, 5:140s. Okay, you're smiling. I was proud of 5:1. I was like, yeah, we are speed demons. But while we weren't fast, we weren't quick, we were incredibly strong. And our athletes competed with that type of training. If we got a hold of you, we would take you down. If we could catch you, we would tackle you. And the coaches would kind of laugh at that. I'm looking at the scoreboard. We're winning, coach. I'm looking at our record. A lot of conference championship flags hanging on the gym floor. Okay, or gym wall. Sorry, not gym floor, gym wall. Yike. Here is where I started. An abandoned room. Okay, 1,200 square foot. Our first remodel was a knocking out a wall with my 7th hour Phi Ed class. Talked with the principal a couple days ago, and I said, it's time we're going to be able to knock that wall down. And his answer was, someday. I heard him say, yeah, go ahead, coach. Okay, so what I did with my 7th hour Phi Ed class, not exaggerating, we took 45s and we knocked down the wall. Okay, and I told them, quietly, take this all out to the dumpster. Okay, that principal came in after school and he was just as beet red as you can imagine. What the heck you doing? I said, you told me. He said, someday. I said, okay. Now what do? The wall is down. I apologize. Yeah. And we moved on. So now we had a little bit more space. It gets better. From there, we started filling it up. After this, first girl ever to lift at Muskego High School. She was in the doorway one day. I made eye contact. She ran away. Okay, next week she was in the doorway. I made eye contact, stopped her, said, come on in. And said, who are you? Why are you here? And can I lift with the boys? And I was like, well, yeah. First one ever. She crossed that barrier, made that difference. As many of you female coaches, I hope, are willing to step up and take that chance. Okay, was she as strong as the guys? Of course not. Okay, but she was one of the first women I ever had the pleasure to work with and help develop her into a world-class barefoot water skier. And she and her father believed that something we did, okay, with her leg strength to help her to accomplish that goal. I don't know if we did or not, but we did it. From here, this was a, let's see, the buildings and grounds office guy had a room, so they just put him in there. He didn't like the noise, so he was looking for a way out. I said I would help move his stuff with my class if he would allow us to knock that wall down. That was a done deal. It went very, very quickly. We'll talk about these coming up in a little bit. People are saying, well, coach, 6 of everything. Why? 24 kids, okay? 4 kids per platform. 6 times 4 is 24. I think it was Dr. Fagenbaum said no long lines. I hate lines in physical education classes. I need these kids to get a 50-minute workout. That's all I get, 50 minutes, not 51. And with that said, we had enough, so everybody was getting the workout. 2 guys were spotting, and 1 person was filling out his workout card at that time. Here's our class. This is a human performance class, not a weight training class. I had to raise it on up. Okay, so academically, when I went to the faculty meeting and I said, I'm thinking about designing a human performance class, I got nice looks and, yeah, good job, coach. What if we would have just called it strength training class or something like that? They don't want to hear that. So what's the point is we need to figure out how to market our programs to those that are going to buy it. Okay, so I had to start thinking from coach, I had to start thinking administrator. I had to quit talking coach. I had to start speaking administrator. So I had to learn what the term, what the cue is that they were going by and how I was going to be evaluated. Sometimes I came across pretty good, and other times I was just the old gym teacher. And that's fine. You'll see what happened over a period of time. So everybody was ready to go, and it was like, on command. Okay, it looks like we're doing a deadlift. Get under the bar, bend down, get your grip, sit down, set your back. 3 repetitions, set, go. Boom, boom, boom. The technique started looking pretty good. Usually around week 4. If you were to come and watch one of my classes week 1, you said the guy's lying to us. Okay, it's chaos. Yes, but it was organized chaos for the first 4 weeks, and then after that, it got smooth. By week 11, it was incredible, to a point where I'm sitting there and I'm nodding to myself thinking, yep, it works. Why wouldn't it? When you all take the time to do it correctly, when you demand consistency, and it will happen. All right, so anyway, now back to this. People were talking about money, coach, money, how much? Nothing. This costs some money. Where's the money? Grants. Okay, you want something, hustle for it. We got a grant for $660,000. Who, for the high school? No. Back to one of your presentations. I wanted to develop every kid in the district, K through 12. Every Phi Ed teacher in the district got a big Christmas gift for me. So much so to a point where they didn't know where to put all the stuff that we were going to do with them. Okay, again, I could be selfish, try to use it to accomplish this, might not have gotten the grant. When they saw included everybody, K through 12, all of a sudden it became easier to accept for them. We got the grant. Okay, the facility looked kind of cool. You'll see it in a little bit. So again, in here, 15 pieces of circuit training equipment. Why? We went from 24 to about 30. So again, one kid's working, one kid's recovering. Over here, 30 pieces of some kind of cardio equipment with a big screen TV. Where am I? A big screen TV up here. That was a distractor to a point where the unfit kids didn't want to leave at the end of their 45, 50-minute class. I had them preoccupied but sweating. How did I know they were working? The grant included heart rate monitors that projected in color where they were, okay, at a certain heart rate level. Okay, that was a long, long time ago before I hear the Orange Fitness people kind of took and ran with that. Very clever. I kind of like that now. I would do it again. Here is a class of 15. Why it looks like there's more. We had mirrors against the back. I like mirrors in weight rooms. Okay, something about a 14, 15, 16, 17-year-old man walking by and flexing. Okay, I'm going to tell them they can't do that. They're not going to train with me. They're going down the road to the local gym, and they are going to do it somewhere. And every now and then, I would see the young ladies, and they would see that, and they were like, yeah, it's working. I encourage that. So when we got 2 classes in there, 5,200 square foot weight room initially, it looked like so. We could get a part of the class, okay, or a class of 24 to 30 on the platforms. Another teacher would be in the circuit room and in the cardio room. 12 in the circuit room, 12 in the cardio, flip-flop. It was an excellent way for us to run the program. Very popular class. It wasn't elective initially, but eventually it was taken on over to a point where the other people in the department were saying, you know, are you going to put us out of business? I say, no, not at all. I said, we'll just have more sections, and now, would you like to teach a section? Which one would you be more comfortable or most comfortable in? All right. After, okay, the school was built in '57, and at the end of the summer workout, one of my interns said, Coach, I'm feeling the floor a little soft. And I was like, I noticed that too. I said, when everybody's gone today, we'll pick up that rubber mat, and we'll see what we see. Okay, and the rubber, I thought the rubber mat was just kind of, over years, deflating. And it was just a bad mat. I was going to toss it and replace it. We had a bunch in the closet. I moved over one map. Here's what I saw. I was looking down into, there's a second floor weight room. Second floor weight room. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. Why'd you build it on the second floor? We didn't know, guys. Okay, we did not know. We were just looking for space. And we were putting initially a few pieces of equipment. It expanded. The engineering, you'll see in a second, said this will never be a weight room again. So I said, okay. My first thought was, do I go to Walmart? Do I get a bag of Saccrete? Do I come back with the intern? And do we patch it on up and it's good to go? Fall sports season is starting in a little bit. And just something wasn't sitting right. Okay, it wasn't the right way to do that. I'm thinking, what if that damn floor would have fell down on us? Everybody could have gotten seriously hurt. So I said, okay, let's take the rest of the floor up. And we looked, and son of a gun, the whole floor had a stress fracture. Not quite as bad as that particular site. That was a exaggerated picture, but the whole floor was cracked. Okay, I didn't know what to do for sure. After thinking about it, I let the interns go for the day. Went to the custodial office, and there was an engineer getting ready for summer projects in his office. And I said, guys, I need you to see something. Okay, when they came in here, he says, the weight room is uninhabitable. I'm having trouble saying that. I can hear that guy say that even as I just said that. And I looked at him and I said, what does that mean? I'm thinking uninhabitable for the rest of the day. We're going to Saccrete it. Uninhabitable for the rest of the week. Okay, until the fall sports season starts. And his response, this will never be a weight room again. That's an issue. That's an obstacle. How did I overcome that? Driving home, stressed out a little bit. I'm thinking, we got 2 weeks. And we've got several teams that are coming in, counting on us to have that weight room ready to rock and roll. It was my job to get it done. First of all, the engineer gave me 2 days to clear out the weight room. Okay, is that a big deal? I figured out a way. I said, Coach, would you get a friend and you take one squat rack, put it over here, and then you may leave. Would you take one bench, get a friend? Would you take one platform? Would you take some dumbbells? Every kid had a job. I had their name, I had their job, they showed up, they moved it. It was an incredibly efficient move. And the school system just loved that. They saved having a moving company come and get that out of there. Here's a problem. I now had to figure out where to go. And the only space that was somewhat usable was a double study hall. And a double study hall at this time was brand new. The coach was worried, the principals were worried about me cracking up their floors. And I had to move those darn rubber mats, 4x8 rubber mats. As you lift them, you know, they sag and they hurt your forearms. And I'm thinking, I've got to move several, okay, you know, probably close to 50, 75 of them. I'm dreading that until I found out that in the summer work crew was a class valedictorian. And the class valedictorian was going to Stanford under some kind of math scholarship. So I approached him, I said, here's my dilemma. I said, I'll buy you lunch if you can figure out how to get all those mats there. Okay, he went to lunch, came back, and he had it all figured out. And he showed me on paper how simple this was going to work. I don't think like he thinks. Okay, I would have muscled it through, bitching all the way done, but we would have got it done. He said, no, we numbered everything, we had it moved, and it was kind of slick. So we took this room, included only what we needed to teach the human performance class. Okay, so I had to get rid of a lot of the cardio equipment. A couple of the FIA teachers were a little upset. I said, I can't help you. I'll try to get it back as quickly as I can. The circuit room, we left it. It was on the ground floor. Nobody had a problem with that. So if you look at my design, I was taught tall against the wall. I'm looking at a lot of current designs. Everything tall is in the middle. I can't see that little freshman screwing around on the other side of a good-sized weight room. If you're asking me, nobody has, but if you would ever ask me, tall against the wall. And you'll see why I do that in a little bit. Coach said, principal's coach, we are going to get you out of there within a year. I believed him, why wouldn't I? But just to make sure that he was on the up and up, I wanted to help him with his, journey finding me a new spot. So I went into my covert op mode, and during my break, 25-minute break, I would scour the whole school looking for space that was on ground level. And I found, a custodian helped me find 2 classrooms side by side. And if you look at them, on your left would be the art room, on your right would be the shop, tech ed room. These aren't really our classrooms, but it's only pictures I had off of Google, and I put them together to kind of make my point. I'm looking at this, and he said, can you visualize this as your weight room? And I couldn't. I was really disappointed that he brought me on down there. Low ceilings, it just didn't look like a weight room. It didn't have that feeling. He said, what if we knock out the tiles? Okay, what if we paint it up a little bit for you? And I said, okay, I'm interested. 8,000 some square feet was pretty good. I came in with a local representative that I bought all our equipment from over 40 years. And I said, can you come up with a scale model? This is everything we had. All of our benches, 6 platforms, 6 racks, you know, the circuit room, the cardio room. Will it fit in this facility? And if you can't see, I asked him to give me the dimensions to make sure that it would fit. Because I was the expert of putting 10 pounds of whatever in a 5-pound bag. Okay, I mean, we weren't following the standards and the guidelines. We were just getting stuff in there. Okay, that all changed a little bit. So anyway, this would work, and the demolition begins. Okay, here goes the art room. Okay, the ceiling tiles come on down. The ventilation system was improved. Here, if this works, yeah, this is the wall, or offices in there, storage back here. You'll see in a second, that was the space between here, and it went all across. As soon as that got knocked down, I now saw a future weight room. And if you'll see, we colored it with school colors, painted it with school colors. These are still our work lights, temporary work lights. I had a detached detached retina, and I said, I will stay down in this basement, but there are no windows. I need some lighting. And so when the electrician came and he was starting to hang lights, he said, you're going to need sunglasses down here. I said, that's what I want. I was very involved in daily development of this particular weight room. So 8,500 square feet. I wanted 10,000. Why? Because we had at least about 100 kids that would come in on a regular basis. According to the standards, 100 square feet per kid. Okay, I figured that out to be around 10,000 square feet. I settled for 8,500. I didn't have a choice. I did not have a choice. So what do you have? Make the best you can out of what you have. Here is then what it looked like. Okay. Let's see, I'll look at this door. This is where the athletes entered. Here was the main station of operation. where a sport coach or an intern would have the programs and then assign where they would go. All across here would be the cardio equipment, 3 big screen TVs there for distraction. Over here, 15 pieces of circuit. Over here now, the strength development area, 6 benches, 6 platforms, and 6 squat racks. I apologize for the unorganized look of this weight room. You guys, as Coach Hootie mentioned earlier, this was our weight room at its messiest, at its finest. It was consistently clean. Why? Because I demanded that. If your weight room is a mess, it's a reflection on you, in my opinion. Okay, if you don't want to clean it up, get your teams to clean it up. If your teams aren't cleaning up, you better get on your sport coaches to clean it up. Okay? Whatever you have to do, that now becomes your facility. You are responsible for it. Okay, so everything that I'm seeing in here had to be in its spot before I would leave for the evening. And I would take little notes. Who was the last coach here? I looked at the schedule. I would have a friendly email to him or her and say, can we improve on this? Okay, maybe much younger I would have attacked. Then I learned to be a little bit more diplomatic. Diplomacy works a lot better, I found out. Okay, so we go from here. Beautiful facility. Everybody wanted to come in and lift whenever they wanted to come in. I said, I don't think that's a good idea for liability reasons. So when I teach my Fayette classes and we go into the pool to swim, there are several signs that says you can't be in here unless there is a lifeguard on duty. And that lifeguard in Wisconsin had to be in the chair. I could be on the deck teaching the class. Somebody had to be in the chair supervising all of us. I like the idea. Okay? Another sign I saw, no students may use the weight room without proper teacher supervision. I testified as an expert witness against a colleague of ours, okay, who let a kid in the weight room by himself, was push pressing a bar, racked it, cut off some fingers. Where was the coach supervising? In the doorway, looking into the gym, kids playing basketball. If you will open up the weight room, coaches, will you please supervise the weight room? If you don't know how to perform a lift, have somebody come in and teach you how to perform that lift before you are comfortable. Backing up a little bit, I took that USA weightlifting class. I had them come back to our community 3 times before I even considered adding clean progressions into our program. What wasn't I getting? That. What was I doing? I mean, we were 225-pound reverse curls. Okay? Looking back and thinking about that. Here's what I would like to see. Why can't somebody have the guts to say, no students, teams, or staff members may use the Strength Center without a CSCS present? Okay, we have come close. We have said qualified. I want to define qualified by saying CSCS. That means all you young guys coming in, gals coming in, you will now have more opportunities for jobs. That means we will all know what we all should know, and we'll support each other as we're trying to teach the next group of athletes. Okay, so that they have the strength they need. Get them ready, get them strong, get them powerful, is what I was taught. Okay, is it that simple, or should we make it more complex? Do whatever you want to do. Okay, do whatever you want to do. That's what I believe. That was part of my philosophy. So anyway, if you look at, is it a qualified strength conditioning coach? What's missing? Is it a qualified strength and conditioning coach? The NSCA has put together a lot of resources to kind of help us define who this person should be. And they came out with a packet, and I think, okay, Coach Caulfield, how would people get a hard copy of that, or can they get an electronic copy of this?
We'll send them to them if they want to.
So do they contact you at the national office, or?
They can email me. We can get that out. I brought some with me too, right out.
Okay, Coach, can you hold your hand up for a second? Can everybody, if you're interested, okay, that's the man to see. Okay, this packet was put together by us, for us, okay, because of what we know we needed. It wasn't a PhD telling us, here's what you guys should be doing. Okay, many times they're accurate, sometimes they're missing because they have not been in a weight room for a regular or long period of time. Okay, excellent on doing the research, but a little weak on some other things. So we're looking at how to benefit the professional, how to benefit your school. Where should you probably stop? Start your school. Okay, and who do you start with? AD, introduce yourself, Tell them the qualifications. Okay, who belongs in a weight room? In my perfect world, people that have a strong scientific background in these classes. Okay, people that have a lot of hours spent in the applied experience. With the CSCS, all of us who have taken the test passed it, okay, with flying colors, but could we teach it? Is what the argument is. We need more hands-on. Okay, and that's not an insult. Boy, the more I get to work with a better coach teaching me something I'm not comfortable with, the better I get. And we just keep passing on it down. I think all of us are going to be better. Why is this program designed? Why is exercise technique enlarged and in bold letters? This was sent to me by a coach from outside of Wisconsin. Take a minute to read it. If it's hard to read, I'll help you out. It says, boys throwers, you have 1 minute. I'm sorry, 1 minute, 1 hour. Yike. 1 hour is just as bad in my mind. And I looked at the exercise choices, and I looked at the exercise order, and I looked at the sets and reps. 10 sets of 10 is 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800 reps in an hour. Okay? I don't know who the coach was, what their thinking was. I can just look at this and take it for what I see. This is not very good program design. If there's anybody that disagrees, talk to me later. Maybe I'm missing something. Okay, looking at exercise technique. I'm not much into social media. Okay, I mean, the phone rings, I pick it up, I answer it, I'll kind of check out some of the Twitters that Doc's on. But I'm thinking, this is not good. Okay, Leo, are you in the room? What do you think, Leo? This, yeah, it is ugly. So I responded to a picture like this. This was right off of Google. So I just picked a picture, and I'm thinking, you know, the real one I responded to, I got ripped big time for correcting bad technique or commenting on bad technique. Geez, I don't need that. I thought I was going to offer some assistance, and I mean, I was getting punched and kicked, and I was like, nah. So anyway, you who like this, continue to use it. Okay, but then explain why. Look at the knees over the feet. I think you went from a pull stance to an incredibly wide jump stance or squat stance. I'm looking at the elbows, I'm looking at the wrists, I'm looking at the positioning of the bar. Everything that I had learned from Leo's DVDs, I don't see here. Okay, I didn't see here. So I was a little concerned about that. How do we get into the high school? I mean, it was luck. For me, it's get a Phi Ed degree. Okay, now you're in the program, now you're in the union, now you're covered. You'll have a job for a long, long time, starting at Wisconsin, $40,000 with pretty good benefits. Okay, if you are coming any other of these people, you may not have that job security. Why? Because you're not there full time. If that's not a big deal to you, go for it. Okay, and you'll see this again was because we polled high school coaches around the country. And those who responded says, I fall into one of these 5 categories. Where are you? Okay, if there is a 6th category we're not aware of, would you please inform us of this? Okay, then we'll try to include you and help you find employment. Okay, all of this is to help us get meaningful employment, going to a job that we enjoy on a regular basis. So anyway, all of these people, their whole purpose is to unify the strength and conditioning program at that particular school. Here's what sport coaches didn't like initially. They heard us say, we're going to make everything uniform. I said, no, we're just going to try to unify everybody. Everybody is not going to do all the same exercises. How I got them to buy into some of this is I would meet with them. I said, Coach, what's your favorite exercise? What's your least favorite exercise? If I were to draw the program up for you right now, what would you insist that I have to include? And after they told me, I got a better feeling as to what they wanted from us. And then we would design the program accordingly. All right, specialization was another issue. Okay, Wisconsin, it was big. Okay, as soon as some of the outside sources found out there was another market for a future star, okay, what was it, 6 weeks, $1,500 fee. We were losing some of our athletes. They were going somewhere else in training. Was the training there better? Maybe. Okay, you know, are those people a better strength coach than I was? Maybe. But the problem is we wanted to have them train at our school with us. And if you look at this line, what could coaches agree on about our guys? I really didn't like when the fall season coaches talked about my guys, because I'm thinking fall season coach, they are the winter season coaches' guys. And when the winter season coach talked about my guys, they were the spring sport coaches' guys. Okay, so again, can we share the talent? Can we try to get them to participate? In my day, I didn't know any better. We just went from season to season to season. Why? We like the coaches, we like the sports. Okay, nowadays there are some, I guess, I don't know, dreams of chasing this scholarship that will have, does specialization work? Yeah. Yeah. But how many of these people are going to get that big time scholarship? Not many. All right, Better Safe Than Sorry was the name of the article. Again, being with the NSCA for a couple years, somebody probably dropped my name, a reporter called and said, tell us a little bit about the weight room. Okay, what were some of the injuries that occurred? I really had to stop. We didn't have many injuries. Okay, every now and then somebody would bump a thigh, bump a knee, okay, kick a toe on the plate, but nothing really serious at that time. So as he was asking questions, I was answering. We got a cover out of this. Better safe than sorry, whatever year that was. Okay, with that, I started thinking about, did I know the rules to running a safe weight room? Honestly, at that point, I wasn't even aware that there were any. When people were making reference to these rules, standards, and guidelines, I had to look them up. There is a new document released, 2017, Standards and Guidelines. Okay, here are half of them. Pre-participation screening clearance. You let a kid in there and he or she dies and they don't have medical clearance, you're in serious trouble. Okay, so that is either a standard, we must do this every day, or a guideline, let's work on improving this over a period of time, a realistic period of time. Coaches, we need to know the rules. Every sport coach in here, they give you a test before the season. You have to pass a test, now you can coach. There is no rules for becoming a strength coach. Show up, answer an ad. You're the school weight room supervisor. I'm like, I think that should change. I know that should change. Next one, records and record keeping. If somebody puts the program on the whiteboard, okay, at the end of the week, does that program stay on for next week? Or does the coach erase that? If the coach erases that, they've erased all records. If at some point the parent of this 800 rep kid comes back and say, my kid's got rhabdo and you caused it, how can you argue that one way or another? Okay, so again, have a hard copy, fill out the hard copy, keep the hard copy. How long? Ask your school risk manager how long they need that copy on record. And I answered around the country, some people say for 4 years. When the freshmen graduate, it's time that you can burn them. At the university level, people are copying them and putting it on some kind of electronic media. I don't know how they do that, but their lawyers must have got a bug in their ear and say, Coach Hootie, do you keep records? For how long, may I ask? Okay. 25 years ago, she was way ahead of the time. Okay, way ahead of the time. We have another program through the NSCA. Okay, it's called the Strength of America Award. It was designed by high school people, PhDs and high school people, to kind of check and see, is your supervision adequate? Are you educating your assistant coaches, your staff? Okay, are you following a program? Not an 800 rep program, but a science-based program. Okay, that is appropriate for 14 to 18-year-olds. And show us your facility. What kind of air circulation? What kind of ventilation? What kind of sound system do you have? What kind of flooring? What kind of other equipment is all included in that? Written for high school coaches. Okay, I say, go do it by yourself. If you don't think it's up to par and you don't want to embarrass yourself in front of your staff, show up on a Sunday. Run through the check questionnaire and then figure out where do you need to work on? What do you need to work on improving? And if there is something to improve, work on it. Find out, is it a standard? Get after it like now. If it's at a guideline, work towards improving it over a period of time. This too is free. I don't know who I can give credit to. Okay, when I was beginning, man, there was a lot of stuff to pick from. as I'm now kind of experiencing a whole bunch of things over a 40-year career, okay, there's less and less that seem to make sense based on the science. Here's what I had to look at. Say some of my early programs probably look like bodybuilding programs. And if I stayed in a GPP phase forever, that might work. Okay, Wisconsin is known for powerlifting, so we squat, bench, and deadlift a lot. Olympic lifting, not so much. Okay, early on, but over a period of time, we did it. Should I follow the Green Bay Packers program? Should I follow Wisconsin's program? Should I follow the state champions program? No, because you are none of them. You are not that staff. You don't have their equipment. You don't have their talent that they may have. So where are you going to follow a program? How about this? Learn to design a program over a period of time. Based on what? Okay, it's done for us. It is a chapter. There's a model that you can follow. I promise you this will work. Are there better ways? There may be. Okay, somebody was telling me that there's going to be somebody coming up with a whole bunch of things. I just needed to know. Okay, if I want to get strong, I lift heavy stuff. If I want to get powerful, I lift medium weight stuff fast. If I want to develop muscle endurance, okay, I lift a lightweight for a lot of repetitions. How simple. Does it work? Of course, because the PhDs figure that out for us. I don't worry about that. I just get the chance to read it and see, okay, where are we weak by testing? What are the exercise choices? How often? What's the order? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Obviously, the guy that put that program, 800 rep program together, was not aware of that. I would like to meet him or her at some point in the future and say, Coach, tell me about this. Why did you come up with that? I don't have an answer, and I'm not trying to be a smartass. I really don't know why some people design programs the way they're doing. All right, we came up with the human performance class. This was a big deal. Initially, I got some pushback from my Phi Ed faculty. Okay, the comment was, you're going to get all the good kids. I wasn't aware of that. Who are the good kids? Who are my favorites? I have favorites. They show up every day. They work very hard. They don't skip a set or a rep. I say, y'all want to be my favorites, do those things, and it will work. So with that said, we kind of got through this, and the last one is go to meetings, go to meetings, go to more meetings. Learn how to speak school board, learn how to speak mom and dad, learn how to speak administrator. First 2 meetings, shut down. Okay, second meeting, shut down. Third meeting, I didn't hear no. Okay, I heard no, no. Third meeting, I didn't hear no. We got them thinking. And eventually the program was successful and it worked. Okay, where do I begin? How can I train somebody if I don't know where they begin? And I can't tell you who came up with that on the bottom. If you're not testing, you're only guessing. So we're training people in the dark. We're training people blind. I had to figure out in a 15-minute class, how am I going to get some of this stuff done? Okay, I've talked with several people that said, power athletes will show up in these 3 things. Okay, power athletes, we have endurance athletes. I'm looking at athletes. Okay, and I'm thinking we can kind of get those athletes to perform if they kind of stand out in these. Figure out the goals for the individual and the team with them. Okay, I mean, I would ask, and I would look at some of the comments that some sport coaches would have, you know, you need to gain 50 pounds off season. I'm thinking, 50 pounds of what? To gain 50 pounds, I'm hanging out at McDonald's and I can do it. 50 pounds of muscle tissue, that's not coming in an off season. Okay, and then we're going from there. Design the program based on the specificity, the scientific principles, and then evaluate. This is hard. Okay, after a while when you don't see the results that you might want. My freshman, incredible results, as you can imagine any 14-year-old would show. If you and I are going to have a contest, I want you to take my Studley seniors. I'll take the worst freshmen. I'll win. Why? So much level of trainability. Okay, so again, I'm trying to follow this. We see the results, and then we sat down and evaluated and come up with the curriculum. Look like so. Okay, if you notice, I'm sorry? Am I handsome? All right, yeah. So somebody, again, got my name, and they came into the school. You guys, when you invite somebody in your room, they get to see everything, good and bad. And I wasn't sure I wanted to see that, and I thought, why not? So the guy came in, he watched what we did, how we ran through a class. Again, maybe not in this slide. I get 50 minutes, not 51. And we taught, and we taught, and we taught, and we taught, and we taught in small groups using cues that I wanted everybody to adopt. Sport coaches, don't you train your middle school kids to have the same offense, the same defense, the same terminology? Okay, if you want success at the high school, I think you would. I wanted success in the weight room so that the sport coaches would have success on the field, on the court, on the wherever they competed. Initially, it took off slowly. Eventually, it took off like wildfire. Okay, so again, a lot of teaching was going on in this 90-day class. What did it look like? It looked like, on Monday, we start with the back squat. Why? That's the first lift contested in powerlifting. 5 minutes, thank you. Okay, we would, Tuesday, movement. Okay, not fancy movement, just get in a stance. Where's your first step? Is it a false step or is it a positive step? Teach them how to stop under control. How did I kind of watch that? I let them play tag first. Did you ever watch kids who are not very athletic play tag? It is ugly, but it's very educational. And you got to see that they had to widen their base, lower their center of gravity, and improve, okay, their ability to do whatever they had to do athletically. Wednesday, bench press. Thursday, more movement. Now a different plane. So every time they came, we tried to hit all the planes. Okay, and Friday, again, deadlift. And we did that until I thought that they had that. Okay, it was up to me to decide to develop a coaching eye that says we're ready to progress. Okay, and I rarely got a lot of pushback that this is boring. They look forward to this, and when it was time to go shower, they were like, that was a fast class. And I'm thinking, that was a fast class. We got a lot of reps in, and we got a lot of correct reps in. Okay, the second semester introduced the power movements. Okay, so teach, teach, teach. And I think I got from Leo, top down, Leo, yet? Yeah. I believe in top down. Okay, USA weightlifting taught me that. I understood that. I teach that. Is there another way, Leo? Floor up still acceptable or other ways? Yeah, I didn't learn it that way. So if I come and I see you guys teaching from the floor up, that's fine. But is it correct? Is that guy's feet wide? Are his knees in? Is he catching with the elbows down? That's not correct. Doesn't matter where you start. Okay, what does that technique look like? Assistant coaches, you are incredibly valuable. Okay, I don't get you here only to clean up and put stuff away. I get you here to learn. And if you look at this cartoon with Mr. Miyagi teaching Daniel-san, do you remember? Wax on, wax off, paint the fence, paint the fence. All those movements, okay, we're going to make Daniel-san a better karate fighter. Everything that we did with our interns, sweep, disinfect, put everything away. There is no weight room fairy that shows up at night and cleans up the weight room. We do it, and we have to show the next generation of coaches, how do you want your weight room to look? Who's going to be responsible for that well-maintained weight room? That is one of our guidelines. The after-school weight room program is now where we train. Now we kind of assign loads, and we watch if they learned anything in class. Okay, it's incredible how quickly they learn and then can perform these different lifts. Supervision happened. I tried to go 1 to 20, so me and 20 athletes. Okay, if there was more, 40, I would get an assistant sport coach to come on in there and help out. Okay, if there was more, and there usually was, a third coach. And the coaches, oftentimes were not FIA teachers, they got to meet each other. We started developing the coaching fraternity. Okay, I am now sharing athletes from season to season with the different teams. Developing a program, coming up with your periodization model. At the high school level, it's so darn easy. You have 180 school days. Why do you want them to come in off of a break and then suspend them from a sport because they went on vacation with mom and dad? You're punishing them, that family, and the team. If this kid's a stud or a studette and they can't play for 3 days because mom and dad wanted to go on vacation, Easter break, Christmas break, Thanksgiving, whatever, why don't we just kind of go with that flow? It makes your life a lot easier at that point. So again, all the things that we have seen. This worked out well. Below this or next to this, there are several more slides, but I heard, Coach, that I only had 45 minutes. I wanted to save those slides maybe for the Q&A. But if you look at this picture, study it for a second, I'm the guy that says that's a 6. Coach Fagenbaum says, Coach, that's a 9. And we discuss, we debate, we argue, but we walk away agreeing the kid's best interest is at our heart. Okay, if you can do that, what's that? You like that? All right? That's it for now. Okay, I think that was it, and we'll save those questions. How did I do, David?
Perfect.